love that poster. That is one of the most iconic, influential posters to me in my life. 1989 Batman 1, Tim Burton.
I appreciate it. I actually intended to use one of those Zoom backgrounds that you guys tweeted out a couple years ago on the Patriot Act Twitter page. Here, let me play that.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna switch over?
Anyway.
Oh, so, no, don't do that. Don't do that. No. How dare you? This is cyberbullying.
I'm so sorry.
We're cutting the interview. Cutting it.
He's walking out. He's walking out.
I can't.
All right. Hasan, thank you so much for talking with me. Yes, the Batman is definitely iconic. Congratulations on the King's Jester. This is your third go around with Netflix. The first few times you got a Peabody. If you don't get a Peabody for the King's Jester, is that going to be considered a failure or?
Oh man, I don't know. Do I have to do it back to back to back?
I'm saying you got to do the three-peat. You got to be like MJ 3-0 in the finals.
Okay. All right.
Do you even know if you get nominated for a Peabody, or is that one of the things that you only know when you win?
I think you find out if you've won. I think. I don't even know. Yeah. Now you put the pressure on me.
Great. One of the things I really appreciated about the special is I didn't know going in that it's basically like the origin story for Patriot Act. You talk about like,
sure,
you know, the story from your childhood and how that circled back to this. And I was wondering if, you know, you guys ended in 2020, but so much has happened in the last 2 years. Like if you could like just narrow down to 6 things over the last 2 years that you would have done shows on, what would those 6 things have been? I'm assuming there's an insurrection. Well, there's like, isn't it like 6 episodes per volume?
Per volume or cycle? Oh my god.
Yeah. So, but we got to narrow down the last 2 years into 6. But I'm assuming the insurrection.
I mean, yeah, that's. I was about to say that. I was just like, I couldn't even be. There's so much that happens every week. Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, January 6th, of course.
Just thinking back to like, you know, the end of Patriot Act, and you'd also talk about, you know, a lot in the without having, you know, we don't want to spoil. Not that can you spoil a comedy special?
Spoil it. Go for it. Yeah, talk about it. It's out there. There's no. Yeah,
it was almost like a blessing in disguise that you ended Patriot Act, because a lot of it is about like the mental anguish that you put your family through with that show. So can you talk a little bit about like, you know, how you kind of channeled all of that stuff into the King's Jester?
Yeah. So one of the things that when I first started writing the show, I started with a question, and the question was, can you do the right thing for the wrong reasons? And I remember my director, Prashant, was asking me, hey, why did you write that question? And then, you know, I would just start answering, and I would start telling these stories. And it really became this kind of interrogation of myself and really trying to understand, hey, you do this comedy thing and it put your family in jeopardy. It put your marriage in jeopardy. Why are you doing this? And I really had to kind of just continue to dig deep and peel back each of the layers and critically analyze, okay, a comedian is supposed to push the envelope, but sometimes the envelope pushes back. And when that happens, how do you deal with that truth? What are the sobering conclusions that you come to? And that really is the genesis of what the King's Jester would then become, and starting to tell those stories and then find the narrative threads that kind of connected all of it together.
And what I find so unique about your approach to stand-up, you know, particularly with Homecoming King and King's Jester, is that, I mean, they almost come off as one-man show. I mean, they are one-man shows, right? Like you utilize lighting and props and of course your background.
Yeah.
When you're like putting it together, like, do you workshop it in clubs? Like, how do you like, how do you go to the nightclub and kind of like try to workshop the stuff that requires so much like timing? And all comedy requires timing, but like, you know, with the lighting and the effects and everything.
Yeah. Well, first of all, one of the things that I think about is when people frame it that way of, is it stand-up? Is it one-person show? What is it? To me, I see it like this. We are so inundated with media. We see so many different things. If you were to watch a movie like, let's say, Everything Everywhere All at Once, is that a time travel movie? Is that a family movie? Is that an avant-garde hot dog fellatio movie? What is it?
Dildo nunchucks.
Yeah. There, dildo nunchucks. There's a raccoon that cooks on the chef's head. What is it? Is it avant-garde? Is it surreal? one of the things that it does brilliantly, or I think great art does, is it continues to push the lines of what is possible within the genre. Now I think people have seen so much comedy and podcasting and storytelling and film that you can combine a lot of these elements. You can combine the lighting design of Broadway with the stage design of, theater, the setup punchline of comedy club comedy with the storytelling and vulnerability of Moth storytelling or Spalding Gray level storytelling. And it can still be considered comedy. Take a show like Barry. I mean, season 3 is just drama now at this point,
right.
But it is a comedy. So putting these things in boxes, I think is pointless. Really, to me, it's about, hey, is this person pushing the genre forward? Are they on the bleeding edge of what is possible within the genre? And I'm just trying to pursue that feeling, which is what I think Bo Burnham is doing, what Gerard Carmichael is doing. They're just pushing the genre. Moses Storm.
I mean, I was just thinking like Inside Rothaniel are also kind of like doing the same things you do. Last thing I'll say, I know I'm at time here, but
yeah,
one thing I feel like no one else has picked up on is that both of your specials refer to the Kings. And I know it's like training camp just started. What is Sacramento going to make the playoffs this year? Look, what's the deal? You got Mike Brown, Sabonis for a whole year.
So there's a difference between what you want and what's going to happen. So let's just talk about what I would want. Yes, I want the Kings to make the playoffs. Sincerely. And I hope that will happen.
That's as best as you can get.
I mean, what more do you want me to do?
I mean, this is when you're...
talk about an interview. You open with trolling me with Kumail, and then you end with asking about
But that was an honest question. I'm like, but we haven't talked about training camp yet, because I know that the NBA is all that matters.
I know.
This is when you can be optimistic. This is when it's...
Unless
if we
you're
do this interview again in February, maybe.
Yeah, unless you're a Kings fan or a Knicks fan, you can't always be optimistic when it comes to sports.
Hasan, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Take care, man.
In the lectures, fanboys, professional artists, and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me.